I am so glad you convinced me that the family car should be the Defender 110. It is so beautiful inside. It's so comfortable, and it just feels indestructible.
Yes, it really is. I've been waiting a long time for the new model to come out. The Defender 110, I'm telling you, it's my favorite car of all times. It's my third one. You know, I have stories of going off-road. The guy managed the group. He was like, what are you doing in this beautiful car? I'm like, I'm going off-road. He's like, are you sure? Because you can use one of ours. And then they look like Mad Max cars. I'm like, no, we're going to do this. And he was shocked.
Wow. Well, it's great because the Defender has been reimagined for 21st century adventure, and its unparalleled off-road ability, as well as its robust interior, are invaluable whether you're headed towards uncharted territory or just a weekend of exploration. The Defender 110 tackles challenging surroundings with absolute confidence. The SUV conveys strength outside and in, featuring peerless technology like an intuitive driver display and an award-winning infotainment system. That's my favorite part, to keep you connected no matter where the journey takes you. Adventure is unique to everyone, and so is the Defender. Choose from the two-door Defender 90, the four-door Defender 110, or the larger Defender 130 with the ability to seat up to 8 passengers. You'll find uncompromising performance in all three. So pack up and go even further with the Defender 110. Learn more at LandRoverUSA.com/Defender. First off, congratulations, Erika Ender, who wrote the song Despacito, which now has over 7 billion views on YouTube. I'm re-releasing this episode, Erika. We did it in October of 2017, but I wanted to again release this to celebrate your recent Grammy nomination for Best Song of the Year for Despacito, which you wrote with Luis Fonsi. During the episode, I asked her, how did you do it? I wanted to learn about the process of being essentially the most listened to songwriter in history with 7 billion views. Like, it's like the entire world listened to this song. There are so many great takeaways from our conversation, but one of my favorites is have an abundance of mentality. She said, people are always asking me, do you feel pressure? What are you going to do next? And I say, you know what? This is such a gift. I'm just focusing on whatever is good and being grateful and doing the best that I can in everything that I do. I'm not putting any pressure on myself because I think doing that is seeing life from the ego eyes. I'm not thinking I'm going to top this. I'm just going to do quality work, she said. I'm trying to evolve. So this interview is going to teach you about collaboration, discovering inspiration and your own inner talent, forgetting about the outcome, believing in your gift, and so much more, including my special question that I ask Erika towards the beginning. I hope you enjoy. I give you Erika Ender, singer, songwriter, philanthropist, Latin Grammy winner, Hall of Fame inductee, and now Grammy nominee for Best Song of the Year.
This isn't your average business podcast, and he's not your average host. This is the James Altucher Show on the Choose Yourself Network. Today on the James Altucher Show.
Suddenly, the song was number one the first day. The day of the release, it was number one in 14 countries.
Let's say I want to write a song that gets 4 billion views.
Mm-hmm.
What should my first few steps be?
You know what? I don't think about the numbers. The main thing is for you to connect with the world. The more I travel, the more I understand the human being. I see life with the eyes of a child. Humans start to complicate things like, let's study the song. What happened? And they did this and that. It was so organic. It came out so easily. I mean, everyone has their own talent. And my talent is expressing it through writing songs and from singing them, you know?
So excited to have Erika Ender with me. Before I actually say what she does, just in case you don't know her name, hello, Erika.
Hello.
I've already asked you on a date and potentially asked you to marry me at the beginning of this podcast, but that's not the reason you're on.
We're talking serious. We got to say you're carrying an
engagement ring on me.
Engagement ring.
But the reason you're on is you've written the most popular song in YouTube history, Despacito. 4 billion, almost 4 billion downloads.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Was it the first to hit 1 billion downloads ever, or the first to hit 2 billion downloads?
No, I think 3 billion, right?
First to hit 3 billion downloads.
Yeah, and I think that we've done it the fastest. That's what I heard.
Right. I think it took you like 97 days to hit 1 billion. I don't know how long it took to hit 3 billion.
I don't really know, I haven't been, checking the numbers. I'm just letting everything flow, and I'm just happy every time I hear a good news.
And that's great to celebrate the success, because you've already been for many years super successful. You recently won a Latin Grammy. You have many hits all over the place. You've written for 160 different songwriters. You're in every market in the world. You're already a success, but. And before we get to the kind of arc of your career, I am just insanely curious to hit almost 4 billion YouTube downloads. Like, just what that no one's ever done that in the history of anything. Like, to have 4 billion, or not people, but billions of people listen to your
half
music.
Of the planet almost.
Yeah, half the planet
Yeah.
has heard a work of art you've created.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how has your life changed, both personally and, I have to say, even financially, from this significant thing? It's like a world history
first,
thing.
I gotta say that I cannot take the whole credit, because it's a dream team.
Sure.
First, I wrote the song with Luis Fonsi, which is my dear friend, and
He came to you with his
came
the
to
initial
me.
refrain.
Yeah, he came to me with the idea that he had. Normally, when you sit down to write a song with a co-writer, you come with an idea and you start developing that idea. In that day, which was September 15th, 2015, when we created the song, he calls me like, Erika, do you want to pass by? I want to start writing for my new material, my new CD. So I went to his house, we started chatting, and then we went to his home studio, and he tells me, you know what? I have this idea since this morning, and he sings to me with the guitar. Despacito, vamos a hacerlo en una playa en Puerto Rico. And then I answered, hasta que la sola griten ay bendito.
What does it mean?
until the waves shuts out ay bendito. That's a saying in Puerto Rico.
Did it just like hit you?
Oh my God. No, it's like, oh my God. Something like that. And then he started laughing, and me too. And then I said, I love it. Let's write a song about how to seduce a woman or a man. I mean, if it's the case. And why don't we just try to do it in a very classy way, but with what's going on out there? Because he used to be a balladist, right? He used to sing a lot of ballads and pop music. And right now, all of the Latin music is mainly urban, and it's mixed with pop and other rhythms, but mainly urban.
And that seems to be the new pop music, actually, is a mixture of that Latin sound with urban.
Exactly.
And I think not that you were in the right place at the right time, but when you mix kind of just his Latin style with urban, and then you have Daddy Yankee doing kind of reggaeton or almost rap, I think it made the song something unique.
There are a lot of artists collaborating nowadays. Like everybody's doing that in the Latin market. So it was Fonsi's idea to call Daddy Yankee. Then Daddy Yankee added the rap and the post-chorus, which is Pasito, Pasito, which is genius, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, the very first day that the song came out, which was
January 17th?
No, 13th.
January 13th?
Yeah, a Friday 13th. Can you imagine?
Bad luck.
It was good luck, very good luck.
Maybe in South America, because it's the reverse of here.
No, it's the same.
Oh, okay.
But I'm telling you, for me, it was good luck.
Yes.
I don't believe in those things. I'm not
I don't
superstitious
believe
at all. I believe in miracles and in a big energy and in good vibes and everything. So the thing is that suddenly the song was number one the first day, the day of the release. It was number one in 14 countries.
Wow.
And then at the
Why
end
do you
of the
think?
day,
It
just connected with the world. I don't know. I don't have an explanation. I see life with the eyes of a child.
So the words connect, you think, or everything combined?
I think everything combined. I think that planets align as well. I mean, there's a story behind Despacito, as you were saying. I have a big story. Fonsi has a big story. We're warriors, We've been in this industry for a long time. We love what we do. We were two friends in a very organic way, writing a song from our hearts. That was it. And people start, humans start to complicate things like, let's study the song. What happened? And they did this and that. It was so organic. It came out so easily. We started writing it like around 3 p.m. and we ended. I left his house around 6. We even did a Facebook Live while writing the song.
Oh, you're kidding. I haven't seen
No,
that.
yeah. I didn't show the song at that point, but I was just saying, we have a palo here, like we got a hit, and that's how we say it. And
How could you tell? How did you know that it was going to be a
you
hit?
feel it. You feel it when you've been for so long in this industry, and you know the technique, and you know how to write a contagious melody, and you take care of the lyrics and everything. We did it with responsibility, with professionalism, but at the same time, we did it with our hearts and trying to get out of his comfort zone because he was a balladist, as I was telling you. So this was a risk for him. This was such a challenge.
What part was out of his comfort zone? I mean, yes, maybe the rap.
I mean, no,
part.
this is part of his comfort zone because he's from Puerto Rico. I mean, it's natural to him. The thing is, what is how the audience had the perception of him. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
So it was taking him out of the comfort zone of the audience, and it's kind of risky when you see a performer that you used to see in a certain genre. And then he changes radically. And that's what happened. So it was kind of a risk. But I think that since it's so natural and so authentic for him, it was easy to, it connected with everyone as fast as it could.
So and I want to get to many of the things you just said, but once it connected and once you realize, oh my gosh, this is like the biggest sensation on YouTube ever. Not just a sensation on YouTube, it's the biggest ever.
Mm-hmm.
What personally did something change for you, or what? How did that feel? I just want to know, just for my own curiosity.
You know what? I think that I have to give a lot of credit to my mom and my dad. They always told me, you have a talent and you have to be as humble as you can. You have to use your talent to do good. You have to be responsible. And every time I sit down to write a song, I feel like I'm writing someone else's soundtrack. I mean, the soundtrack of someone else's life, because you know that music marks moments of our lives. So I've taken this very natural. I'm in such a grateful mode, but at the same time, I'm embracing my roots. And I always say in Spanish, there's a saying that I invented, that the tallest your branches are, the more profound you have to have your roots. And that's how I'm seeing this. I'm taking this from gratefulness, not from ego. I have a foundation in Panama where I have all my energy right now. Like I'm using this spot to grow as a professional, because I'm working, as I told you, 3 different markets at the same time. And I'm riding the wave. But at the same time, I'm taking this spotlight in order to empower others, in order to try to make them conscious of having a talent and using it as a vehicle to do good. And I use music as a vehicle to do good.
So let's explore that. So you have, at an early age, you realize you had this talent for music and for songwriting, but you've also said in the past that a lot of songwriting is a way to translate, let's say, pain into song, into art.
People's feelings.
But what pain from yourself, from your own, and like you said, you're now, you set up in 2009 a charity to help children who had been in forced child labor and give them the arts and bring them up. But what was your pain in the beginning, in your childhood, that then got translated into song?
No, I didn't have pain in my childhood. I had a lot of values. I had that seed because of my parents. We're such a united family. My mom is such a spiritual person. My dad is the kindest person I've ever known. I got lucky. I got really lucky. And when I was little...
Do you think a lot of artists, you think that's rare for artists? Because I feel like a lot of artists do have something they've kind of been, almost rebelling from and to create their art.
Not in my case.
Really?
I was so conscious about my, the normal things you got, like bullying at the school, because people would call me microphone or mop because of my curly hair and things like that, but nothing bad at all. That was nothing. I grew up with a responsibility. My mom always told me, since she knew that she wouldn't control me when I grew up, because since I was little, I remember watching TV with her and seeing how Gloria Estefan and Emilio Estefan was taking out the whole world with conga. And I would say to her, you know what? Whenever I grow up, whenever I grow up, I want to be like her. I mean, I want to be myself. But if she could do it, I can do it. So she was a motivation for me. It was so inspirational.
In what way? Like, because she's been a singer, performer,
no, like
writer.
I want to do that. Like I can do that. I think I have the talent to do that, and I can evolve until I do that. I saw them doing the crossover. It was a dream for me, but it's not the dream of being famous or being a millionaire. It's the dream of connecting with the world.
Sure, and I think probably a greater pleasure than, of course, everybody needs to make money to pay the bills, but probably a greater pleasure out of this, seeing your song hit 4 billion views, and even earlier than that, all your successes must be the way you see how your art connects to people. But how did you, given that you had talent at the beginning and you recognized that, how did you then proceed to develop the skills? Because then it's hard work after you've recognized the talent.
Of course, a lot of hard work. Being a woman, even worse. Being a young woman, even worse.
Well, and I remember one story you've said where you had to change your name to Ender.
A couple of times I did.
So people wouldn't know that it was a woman writing the song.
When
I didn't know it was so...
Yeah, when I got here, I used to send the songs sang by me, even if there were male songs. And I would send them out, and then they would tell me, you know what, it's a beautiful song, but it's too feminine. I was like, are you kidding me? And then I tried all the paths I could, Then I said, you know what, I'm going to try this. I'm going to put Ender. I'm going to ask for a male singer to sing it, and I'm going to send it to someone else. And I did that, and the song went through. So it wasn't a thing of writing a song for a male. It was the lack of vision of the person who was receiving the material in order to think that a woman couldn't write for a man,
So I know this is only a few minutes, but how do you think about, if someone's just beginning songwriting, what should they think about? Like, what is a song? And I know this is like a naive question. I kind of want to know.
You know what? There are two ways in my case, that's how I see it. There are two ways of writing a song. The inspirational one, the one that comes out from the muse, from the inspiration. Like you're going through something and you need to express yourself, or just an idea that comes out of nowhere,
But I feel like if I was expressing myself, I would just cry. I wouldn't necessarily write a song.
Well,
how do you do it till you write a song?
Maybe you would do a podcast and you would express yourself. Each one, everyone has their own talent. And my talent is writing songs, expressing it through writing songs and from singing them,
You come up with a premise then, like something you want to express, something that's inspirational to you, or something that's happened, or something that you see that it affects you. So there's some premise, and then what do?
Well, I was telling you, I have two ways of saying it. When the muse comes, I can be like washing my teeth, and then an idea comes to my mind. I can be driving my car, an idea comes to my mind because I saw something, for example. But then when I sit down in the studio and I look for that inspiration, that's the second way of writing a song. So I go back to whatever happened to me, or I go to a title or an idea that I want to develop, It depends. For example, if you tell me, Erika, I need a song for Ricky Martin right now, I would like to know, me as a songwriter, I would like to know what's going on in his life right now. That's me. Not everyone does it that way. I know the way he sings, the range of his voice, the way that he expresses himself, because my duty is to write exactly what would make him feel comfortable, right? That's my duty as a songwriter. My duty as a singer-songwriter is to express whatever I'm feeling, So I never had a conflict writing for others and writing for myself. So that's what I'm telling you. You either have whatever comes out of nowhere and whatever you look for.
Let's stop to take a quick break. We'll be right back. I just want to say thank you to everyone listening to this. Please take a moment to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is you get your podcasts. It will only take you a second, but it will help other people discover the podcast. And my goal is to share this great content with as many people as possible. To see the show notes, just head on over to jamesaltucher.com/podcast. While you are there, you can join my free insiders list to get notified when I post a new podcast. Once again, thanks so much for joining me on the journey of this podcast. But I feel like that comes out of nowhere. Like, that's something you have to tease a little bit. Like, you have to, that's an ability.
No.
No?
No, to me, it was completely natural since I was a little girl. I was completely, I don't know if you can say that word in English, but empiric, can you say that? In Spanish, you say empírico. Like, it's natural. completely natural. I mean, to me, I never had to look for an instrument to start writing songs. I went to the instrument whenever I needed to grow, you know? But the songs just started in my mind. I just started putting melodies and lyrics together, and I think that was a gift.
And so when Luis came to you, and he's known for going to female songwriters,
Yeah.
he has said in interviews he likes to find that balance.
He's a gentleman, and he likes to, find that balance and be good to women. Yeah.
And for you, Despacito, obviously it means slowly, and so you kind of wanted to say, okay, let's
Take it slow.
take it slow, and the whole song's a dance, basically, of a guy taking
Trying
it
to
slow,
seduce, to seduce a woman slowly.
Yes,
And that's how we like to be seduced. I mean, I'm talking about myself, and I think the majority of women. And we like to be treated with, in a delicate way, I mean, we have our wild side as well, but we don't like to be treated as, I shouldn't say that word, but reggaeton always, or the majority of the time, is very aggressive. It puts a woman as an object. And I think a woman is a work of art as well as a man. So we were taking care of that, in order to have a beat of what's going on right now, but not falling into that same routine of attacking women or putting them in sort of a how would you say that, a dirty place, and trying to be classy, talking about sex, because we're all here because our dad and our mom had sex, but it's the way you say the message what makes a difference.
and so how involved in terms of the songwriting are you planning also in your mind the production, how it's going to be produced, how all the pieces are going to fit together?
We had the idea of what we wanted. We knew we wanted a fusion of reggaeton, kind of in a fusion between urban and pop. But at the same time, he had the clear idea on his mind of what he wanted. He looked for the producers. That's his credit. He was the one who called Daddy Yankee in order to do a collaboration. And we went through like 5 different arrangements until we got the right one. But it was Fonsi in the studio producing with the 2 producers, Andres and Mauricio.
And then again, as it gets bigger, do you ever, and again, you've had 20 years of enormous successes, but now do you ever feel like, okay, how am I going to top this? Like half the planet listen to it.
Everyone asks me that, and
I tried to ask something original.
No. You are original. Just look at yourself.
Thank you.
We're her cousins
All right,
to the
all
ones
right.
that can't see us. But this is such a good conversation. I feel like it's.
I know,
time
definitely
is
we
flying.
can keep going.
But the thing is that people are always asking me, not the same way you did, but kind of like, do you feel pressure? What are you going to do next? And I'm like, you know what? Planets just aligned. Everything is flowing. This is such a gift among everything that is happening to me right now, with the being the youngest inductee to the Latin Songwriters Hall of Fame, which happened before Despacito, the Latin Grammy, my 25th anniversary, the 25th anniversary of my career. So everything is such in a beautiful moment that I'm just focusing in whatever is good and in being grateful and doing the best that I can in everything that I do, which is what I've done during this 25 years. So I'm not putting any pressure, because I think doing that is seeing life from the ego eyes.
Also, maybe it's a way of viewing life with scarcity instead of abundance.
Exactly.
Like, I'm only going to have that one
You know
thing.
what I'm seeing? I'm seeing that Erika is starting a new era. Like right now, it does feel like a change. It does feel like a change, because I'm having the opportunity to get to the Anglo side and to the Brazilian side, which is amazing for me because I'm half Brazilian, and I couldn't get into those markets as big as I'm getting right now, because my strongest part was in the Latin market. So I guess that this is a new era. I'm taking it like that. I'm not under pressure at all. I'm just trying to evolve and develop myself the best that I can and be the best person I can and the best professional I can. And whatever comes is amazing. And this kind of things doesn't happen often. So I'm not thinking I'm going to top this. I'm thinking I'm going to do quality work, and I'm just going to let it flow.
Well, okay, so let's say I want to write a song that gets 4 billion views.
Mm-hmm.
What should my first few steps be? Obviously, I'm going to listen to all
You
your
know
songs
what?
as an inspiration.
You know what? I don't think about the numbers as I was telling you. I think that
That's fair.
the main thing is for you to connect with the world. The more I travel, the more I understand the human being. And it's amazing how to see that we have the same body, the same heart, the same two eyes, the same nose, the same mouth, but you use that body to dance in different rhythms and that same tongue to talk in different languages. And at the end, when you understand that and you understand we're part of one whole thing, it's easier to connect. And it's amazing how the world is singing in Spanish. I never thought we were going to do the crossover in Spanish. It never crossed my mind. So it's what I'm telling you. The world is full of energy, and I just let the energy flow.
Right? Who would have thought that the number one song ever on YouTube is essentially a Spanish song?
Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
We started late, so this is a faster podcast than I usually do, unfortunately, because there's so much to say. But I think you hit something with just the title Despacito, like the slowly and the way you it's so poetic, the lyrics, and I read the translated version. But how does one take it slowly? Like, I'm the type to just go right in for romance. I fall in love at first sight and then get divorced right afterwards.
You see?
So that's the problem.
You gotta
with
take your time. You gotta know who you want to be with. You gotta.
How do you have the confidence in yourself to do that?
Loving yourself first, being happy with yourself. Self-esteem is the key. Whenever you're happy with yourself and you communicate the best you can with your inner self, then you can communicate with others.
I think all of this is
way.
related to having this abundance mentality, not thinking, oh, this was my last, or oh no, what am I going to do next? Or, they got inducted and I didn't yet. And I think having an abundance mentality about everything.
You keep doing the right thing and your time will come. That's everything I have to say.
And a lot of people say, okay, well, she found her talent at a young age. I've been paying the bills and now I'm working in a cubicle. How do I find my talent? I'm in my 40s. How do I find my talent?
You know what? There's an amazing book that it's so important to me. I've read it like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. The Alchemist of
Love
Paulo
that book.
Coelho.
Yeah, love all his books.
And it tells you in a certain way that every little child knows what they want to do. Like they have that intuition, and then society starts to change you. Every child comes to this earth without discrimination, sexism, loving everyone, being kind. And society starts changing you and contaminating your heart and your spirit, if you see that.
So how do you free yourself?
You have to connect with your inner child. What's your passion? What is it that you really wanted to do? And why life forced you to do something else? It's never late. Whenever you do find your talent and you understand that your talent has to have a purpose and you do it with a mission, not in a selfish way, like I want to be a millionaire, I want to be famous, you can reach success, but it would be something that would leave no footprint behind, to say it in a way, no mark.
So it goes from the talent basically has to get rid of these lower ambitions, like I need to be.
That's how I see it.
A million views on YouTube or whatever, and kind of reach something that you feel. Be sincere about helping people. Have it. Action has to follow intention. So you have to have the intention of.
That's how I see it, and I'm telling you this. I'm sharing this because it worked for me. It still works for me. So I think that whenever you put your heart there and whenever you do what you love to do, money will come. As long as you do it the right way, you're going to enjoy your work. It's not going to feel like you're working. And at the same time, you're going to be using the talent that God's given you in order to do good.
People are afraid to take that leap because the very first time.
It is hard.
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you I haven't suffered a lot. The beginning of my career was tough. And several times during this path have been very tough. And I've gone through a lot of pain and a lot of doors closed.
Oh, now you're telling me. I wanted to ask you all about your pain.
Yeah. Well, but you were telling me if I had pain when I was little, and I didn't. And as I told you, I got lucky because I had such a solid foundation that helped me go through all of these doors that they closed on my face.
So persistence is having faith in that talent
to be
and that love.
Talent, love. You have to persevere as much as you can in what you want. You have to evolve. You have to be open to the world. Understand that the world keeps evolving, and to decodify all of the languages that you want to go through. You know.
So before we end, I just also want to shout out the charity that you're doing. We mentioned it before. It's I don't know how to say it.
Puertas Abiertas, open doors.
Open doors for children who have been going through, who are escaped from child labor.
And besides that, we also did this big festival that is the finale is going to take place. The finale of this year is going to take place in October 29. And it's it is a competition with different categories where kids, or not kids, they're high school young people, right before they graduate. They're competing using their talent and shining on their own talents, but understanding that they have to use that talent with a purpose. That's why it's called Talempro, which means talent with a purpose, talento con propósito. So they're activating their whole school in order to do social labor for a school that is in vulnerable conditions. And then they get extra points for doing good with their talent. And then at the end, whomever wins the competition, each of the categories, get a scholarship in order to have their whole college covered within Panama or abroad. So it's kind of a transforming experience, and that's what I want to do. That's my real mission, like using music as the catch in order to do all of that.
Well, congratulations on all this success.
Thank you.
Next time you're in New York, when you've had 6 billion views on YouTube, you'll come on again, and I want to hear all about pain and suffering. But in the meantime, keep enjoying. Don't experience any more pain and suffering, but keep staying inspired.
Well, if you want to listen to some pain, you can listen to my last CD. I've been through difficult things. I lost my uterus when I was 35. I haven't been able to be a mom. And all of that has shaped me into the woman I am.
And you process that into
I processed that into music. I took pain and made it, I transformed it into art. And I think that's the best psychologist, the best therapist. And at the end, it gives you royalties. So I'm grateful any way you see it.
Well, thanks so much, Erika.
Thank you.
Next time on The James Altucher Show.
Cortisol feels really bad. Like, it feels worse than negative thinking. It feels just as bad as if you're like hit in the face. So when the boss yells at me, I feel like crying or running out of the building. So what do I do at this point to get my dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin back up to par or even better?
I'll tell you what I do. You know what? I actually had a job at a Wall Street bank when I was, in my 20s. And I literally started crying when a boss yelled at me once.
We've all been there. We've all been there. We've all cried in the in our cubicles.
Yeah. But what stunned me was that what the boss was on me for was minuscule. It was the tiniest thing. It was not a huge career-threatening, but it was small. But these small things happen a lot. So you have to make a decision. Like, am I going to try to rewire myself, or am I going to accept the shit or try to create some alternative path?
What can I do on my own internally to reduce cortisol, not think negative, and start having these happy chemicals spike through me? I want help. I just want to say thank you to everyone listening to this. I would say doing a podcast is the activity that I've enjoyed most in these past few years. Please take a moment to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or wherever it is you get your podcasts. It will only take a second, but it will help other people discover the podcast, and it will really show people in general that this is a quality show and that it's worth listening to. You can also check out the show notes at jamesaltucher.com/podcast. And also, if you want to get my blog updates and other updates that I do, sign up for the newsletter at jamesaltucher.com. Thanks again. I really appreciate you guys.
I created this idea called Generation W. It's all about educating, inspiring, connecting women. And it's about building community at the same time. It's not like women are on some outpost somewhere, right? Just like no ethnic people are on some outpost there. People of color, right? We're all together. So if we learn how to appreciate each other, we elevate one, we elevate us all. And so for the first year, that's where we started. And we had 700 people show up. They had no idea what they were showing up to, but they loved it. They said, we want more.